Cranked up the starter.
Yep. I'll hold these here up.
Okay.
We'll just try.
You want to try it?
Yeah, just try. Try again.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It did better than last time.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do this?
Just try.
Ready?
Yep.
What you thinking?
It's really big. I think they're still coming with it.
Check the oil on top of these?
Yeah, we'll check that. See how much top up and it says the 12.
Okay.
It should be popping apart.
It didn't pop and fart the last time we tried, did we? Like the last time, or the first time we started it, at the end of the night, it was idling really good. It took right off. But to be honest with you, the more you're letting it to run, the better it's starting to run.
It is, yeah. People bugs in, have a look at them. It does smooth it out.
It does.
That makes a difference though when you choke things.
It does.
It will, I guess.
It will. Let's do it again. Or you don't want to check things.
We can rub a little bit more.
It's not getting hot by no means, is it?
No,
Like,
not at all.
no, not at all. Not even close.
Roll the wind down, that's there. We'll get the wind going on.
See if you can get her run. See if she'll run a little better after she warms up. Because it seemed like it's starting to. It does seem like it starts to come around. Go ahead.
Yep, give her a go. Just see if she'll iron.
I didn't. It'd be too foolish for me to touch it,
Yeah.
if you know what I'm trying to say.
Is that the
cool.
overflow?
It's overflow, I'd say, kind of the overflow. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's coming out of the overflow there. That's fine. That seems to be fine. Does it seem to be out of time now, is what you're thinking?
Could still be the carburetor. Could still be the carburetor. I can mark the distributor, we can advance the head a little bit and see what that's.
Well, to be honest, like,
It does smooth it out.
we didn't, I'm going to say the core, the distributor was never moved, and it would always ran before.
Yep.
So I'm thinking that, unless we got a bad plug, or like, I clean them plugs all up. We could take them out and check and see how it's firing. Or,
See which one's not firing on, if there is a bad one. Try it again. Carrots aren't overflowing up and down there, but they're still.
from what I understand online, are the worst carburetors going?
Yeah, I think there's another one that's recommended.
Another one that's recommended?
Yeah.
No, I mean, let's face it, they're a carburetor. I mean,
Yeah.
there's good and bad and everything.
You like a lot more fuel, it seems. Give it more, when you choke it off, it seems.
It likes it with more fuel.
Likes it with more fuel or something. Yeah.
It's not warm at all, is it?
No.
That's good.
Oh, it's cool. I should have my laser.
But yeah, but that was not nowhere near as hot like it was before. I keep my hand on that's cool as cucumber.
It's running cool.
It's running cool now. I wonder. Yeah, the best it ran was the first time we run it at the end.
Yeah,
At the end.
Again,
Yeah, see what happens.
Some more choke on it or something. me just see if it starts up and idles right away.
Ready? You want to?
Short flat tire. Let's see what this
That one's hard in. That one's.
Okay. So I'm looking at turn.
Yeah, you can tell when he puts his hands over the carburetors, it seems to work, the engine seems to work really good. Seems to. just the alarm.
One of them was hard in and the other one was out of turn. It worked best around 2 turns. Should read the book the same.
Only book I ever read was Cat in the Hat. I don't know if that's got that tell you or not.
Right.
Better clean up before Mom gets home. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's getting enough fuel whatsoever.
No.
Do them have deserve more pounds than we're giving it?
Well, that's maybe we're gonna have to have a look at that. Maybe that might be the issue, right? We'll have a look at it. We're gonna have to read that in the book and see what kind of speed. I think we're gonna have to look 1.5 over there too. Talking and forgot. 1.5. Yeah, we should check that down. See, just do a little check on that. Read up a little bit on that.
Do a little check on the book. How many pounds pressure them carburetors should have?
Yeah, maybe we're not putting enough to.
Jolene would be the best for that. Would you be able to? You'd be able to look that
Where's
up?
it right here?
Okay. Jolene will look it up right at the present second. Best wishes, Glenn Richards. Thanks for the book, Glenn. That's cool with cucumber, ain't it? Yeah. Well, to me, like, you're choking it. It's not getting its fuel.
Yeah, it's not getting enough. Why is it not? And the jets in, that doesn't mean the jets in.
Are we using an electric pump or mechanical?
Electric. Sucking air anywheres?
Sound like it.
How would you know? How would you know if it was sucking air? Wouldn't work right.
crank it up. It will smooth it out if you go half throttle. It sets it smooth.
It does. It does. When you put your hands over top of the carburetor to make it suck more fuel, it chokes it, but it just seems to work better.
Why is it?
Not sucking fuel when you're...
I wonder if it's opening these too quick, because it says a bit of tension on them. Real tension on them. That would choke it off more too if you first get the fuel and they open up too quick.
I don't know about 20 weight oil. Isn't that what it says? 20
It
weight?
says 20 weight.
Can you see oil in them? I can't tell.
See some over there. It says to top them up till they feel. It doesn't say how much.
I can't see anyone.
There's some over there, but I don't know if there's enough.
What would 20 weight oil be? Looks like transmission fluid to me.
It looks like.
You would think it would want transmission fluid oil in there, not oil, wouldn't you?
That's all it says in the page I had opened up. All it says is 20 weight oil.
What oil? Kind of oil put in the top of them carburetors?
SAE 20 engine oil. When sufficient oil has been injected, the piston should require a firm downward pressure
Okay,
to
that would
install
put
it.
down pressure on that, like you said.
Yeah, let's put more downward pressure on it. That one there is pretty. I'd say it's been 10 to 30. You probably got 10 to 30.
Do so.
You got this squirt ball with everything like that.
I might. Doesn't it? How does that make any sense? That's some thick oil. You gonna put ATF in it? But it is fluttering.
Oh, yeah, it's probably bad at all. It's smooth and straight up. It's not getting fly. So,
How full do you fill them, sweetheart? Does it say anything like that?
I thought it said 1/4 inch
from the top?
from the. Hang on. Yeah, above 1/4 inch above the carb neck.
What a difference.
Oh, is that right?
1/4 inch from the carb neck.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the carb neck is going to be.
Oh, wow.
I'd say there's 1/4 inch.
Oh, I see what that happens. That puts pressure on that thing, don't it?
Yeah.
Ah. That's going to overfill now, isn't it? Putting that in there? No?
That was one good. Okay.
There's some pressure now, isn't there?
Big time difference.
Big time difference, he says.
It's leaking now.
Huh?
Around the cover.
Yeah.
So I'll push that up there. Okay. Yeah. There's what we were doing.
Ah.
Oh, you just put pressure on them. Down pressure with fluid.
We're learning as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what did you have them adjusted at now? What are you going to adjust them at? You going back to 1.5 or?
I think I'm at 1.5. I'll just double check it. I'll double check it. says.
I never heard tell of putting transmission fluid in a carburetor before, but
So it says they're supposed to do that every so many thousand miles.
give me that thing.
Yeah, I think 3,000 miles.
Where is that short stubby flat?
Is it on the ground?
Must be. Throw it away.
Oh, it's on the battery.
Keep your fingers crossed, we hear? Mm-hmm. Your fingers crossed. That does make sense. If there's more down pressure on those pistons, it's going to get more fuel.
Yeah, that's right.
Would you prefer me not to talk?
just 1 second.
Shut up, Chad, shut up.
Yeah, what a difference. See? We're learning, Chad. We're learning as we go here.
Well, that's all that matters, you know. I guess.
Yeah, let's see if she just starts once.
Yeah, it is, eh?
A little bit. Start with a little bit of the bottom.
It, I thought it worked better right at the beginning.
First started.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you remember, do you know what it was set at? Probably not. Hard to know that shit, eh? What?
Was that a turn and a half?
Was it at a turn and a half? Well, turn and a half seemed to be like the really worked good when you first took off. To me, it did. I mean,
We'll go back and see where it is.
do you want to check those carburetors again, see if they're, or would they go down?
You should see down there.
It did make a difference, didn't it? I'm sure it did.
We're learning. Well, they didn't have any for a while, maybe that's what. But there is down a little bit.
That's what I'm saying, like.
But that one is a little bit more than the other, so give that one a little bit more.
So, that must be a hole there. When it gets over, it just goes down into the gas and burns it.
I'd say that's what that must.
Okay.
Getting learned, slowly but surely.
That's how I do everything, man. Failure. That's how I do everything. What I already know, I'm not learning. I already know it.
Then we took the bottoms off though and cleaned them there.
Oh,
The needle and seats are perfect.
totally. Need to be done. Just going to run into problems if you didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested to take the body off to fix the carburetors.
You didn't run half decent, so you can run it.
Are you going to try this bad boy again? Or you just want to keep looking at it? You want to
Keep looking at it, see how she gets, eh?
just see how she goes? I might be too anxious kind of fellow. You take more patience than I got. It's just not getting enough fuel. So, could you get a bigger jet to put in that carburetor?
Yeah, but here we got the jets. We turn that back.
Is that what's got to go on?
Not unless it has to have a breather on it to run properly or something, I don't know. I don't think you put a breather on it, chokes them off some too.
Do we have the breather?
We do not. We do not. We do not have a breather for it. You can run our hands over it full time as you're driving it, and then they're in.
As soon as you give it more fuel, run smooth.
Yeah.
The throttle's right there and everything. The timing's fine. No, it's fine. But
So-
I think it's still fuel.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, you can tell it's fuel when you put your hands over it. Like it's starting really good. It's fuel. Yeah. Can you? What can I say? How can you make it to have more fuel?
We could, I'm going to try one carburetor and see how it runs on one carburetor, just to see if it's enough fuel runs one carburetor. It ain't make a difference. We have to figure out what's wrong.
Don't we want more fuel?
We need more fuel. We need more fuel.
So if you jetted it different, would it give it more fuel?
So, yep, the jets are changeable. When I blew it, you can really tell when. I have to pull back the turn, yes. Pull back the turn.
Fuel air mixture. Can we do that? That screw that you're screwing in on the side, it must be fuel air mixture, is it?
Yep, well, unless there's another one somewhere I'm not seeing.
Okay.
Maybe there's another one there somewhere I'm not seeing.
How many fuel air mixture? Check that bad boy out, see what that says. Now, these things here are just those. No, they don't.
That's the choke.
No, they don't.
Stop.
Okay.
That does make a difference.
What if you turned them and put them the other way? Or do they go that way?
This is the way they go. They come up and they hit that there.
Okay.
You can loosen that up to give it more. But that ain't gonna be no help to us. Because it starts and idles right off the bat now. It wouldn't idle at all before.
Right.
I thought I got it there when the carburetors were that way. I got it from that.
So it just needs more. Well, it got more because you put them. Did it not? Did it get more? To me, it sounded like it got more.
Made it better.
It made it better.
It's more right there if you want to pull the throttle. It's right there.
It says slow running adjustment. Would it be under that?
No, that's the idle one.
Oh, okay.
That's that one right there. Sets the throttle.
Yeah.
That's not
What about auxiliary starting carburetor adjustment?
fuel. Does that fuel mixture?
It says adjust the top screw until the mixture has a tendency towards richness. The stop screw should be turned in an anti-clockwise direction to enrich the mixture. Ideally, turn the screw to the point where any further movement would cause the engine to idle roughly under conditions where the thermostatic switch is being short-circuited.
A lot of times you'll change the motor box, so you turn it in and she'll start to pop on the fire and go and turn it into a switch.
Well, like it just more or less seems like the more fuel you give it, the smoother it runs. Like basically, when you're holding your hands over top of it. How would oil give that more pressure down on the carburetor on the top instead of putting transmission fluid in it?
I think that first. It said heavier fluid, keep more pressure there. But that seemed to, that helped it a lot.
It certainly did.
Real. Check it.
It says slacken each of the two idle speed screws until they no longer contact the throttle levers. Slacken the choke inner cable clamp bolts. Check that the choke valve plates are fully open and then retighten the bolts. Slacken the throttle spindle clamp bolts. Check that the throttle valve plates are fully closed and then retighten the clamp bolts. Screw in the idle speed screw on the rear carburetor until it contacts the throttle lever.
Here, one of these two things. Want to try these?
So start the engine and adjust the idle speed screws on the rear carburetor until the engine idling speed is as follows. 750 revs per minute with manual, 650 rev per minute with automatic.
Yeah, I understood all that.
You did?
No.
I know what you meant. You're saying the flappers square?
Yeah.
They were pretty good, the flappers.
It says on some carburetors a throttle bypass valve is installed. This is a vacuum operated valve actuated by manifold depression, which during periods of engine overrun when the throttle is closed allows fuel to feed to the downstream side of the primary throttle. This arrangement causes the gases in the engine combustion chambers to become enriched to a combustible level.
So there's something we don't have there.
What?
Is these blocks, that notch that's in that gasket, back into the building.
That's...
Maybe. Remember these gaskets here? That had the notch. You know, but we said the notches were already plugged off, right? From before. So I don't know if that's... That was these gaskets. Fuel injection were all in the same place, that piece you took away.
That fuel injection piece I took off wouldn't accept the carburetors.
Right, yeah.
No.
Yeah. That would be the only thing there you can see the mark on.
No, the intake was totally different than the fuel injection.
Do we have a throttle bypass valve?
Let's try with those things on.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Because it just says on some carburetors a throttle bypass valve is. This is a vacuum operated valve actuated. Okay, I already said all that.
Yeah, I don't think we have that.
Okay.
We don't have any vacuum actually.
That vent would suck more, wouldn't it?
It might, should bypass and blow out, really.
Well, let's try it. Let's try it, man. I want to see it blow off.
It should, well, it should. You know, look at that little alligators.
I love it.
Like there's 3 different adjustment screws, so I don't know.
Idle speed, yep.
Choke cable clamps, and then throttle spindle clamp bolts.
Okay.
set fast idle summer
Yeah,
position.
the idle speed is these two here.
Okay.
And then the one in the side of the carburetor, there's air fuel. That's what I'm fooling with here right now. I got half a
Okay.
turn on it.
I need a drink of transmission fluid.
That's coming around better there now.
It is. I'm just going to say the same thing. I don't know.
So you put what in the? You
Close
blocked
the
what
vents
off?
off of those.
There's two crankcase vents that are supposed to go, that weird apparatus that goes on it. Because this here is supposed to join within the crankcase vent too. A little warm, but it's not. I think we'd almost be able to turn the idle down. So it's idling a little faster now.
Certainly is. And it's cranking up when it's idling smooth too. It's not jumping and
It's not as fluttery.
it's
It's not always near as but
yeah, nowhere near. I think it. How you feel about that?
it's coming around better. It's better now than what it was.
Yeah.
Now it's right there on the throttle and stuff.
Better than it was ever. That's the first word thing. Better.
Whoop, whoop.
What better than ever?
What's that?
We got a little oil dripping out of it.
That front crank's a leaking cut. I mean, it might seal up. Wasn't leaking much last time. I think if we had the alternator hooked up and kept the bolts to it, it'd be better too. We charge the battery up, run it's good, but we're not keeping, like, if it was running, we'd have 13.5. We're running off the battery about 12.5.
Okay.
So we're lower volts on our firing as well, right? I'm gonna bring that friggin' thing up. We just point it and tell us what it is. And we can put a temperature gauge on it.
Radiator's not even hot.
I think it's
Warm.
alright.
Oh yeah. We had a
But
lot
they are
hotter.
right, you know what they do say in that book, they are right, them intakes run quite warm.
Yeah.
But this intake, the buddy said it didn't have the, this has got the antifreeze piece on it. Right? I still see that lead seat. This one here, see that one's not seated now. We'll check all the gas nuts one more time and then.
Yeah, I would say
Well,
it's
when you're standing here, what I like that is you look at it and you don't see all that Jaguar up firing system.
basically that looks 10 times better. Come take a look, sweetheart.
She took, yeah, she already seen it.
Camera hadn't seen it.
Our audience hasn't.
So this is Nathan's work inside here. He's got the coil hanging off. The intake, made a little aluminum bracket to bolt that on the coil. Then he's made the little bracket over here to hang, what's that called, a distributor modulator?
Ignition module.
Ignition module off a Chev. Got that wired into the distributor. All the wires are running behind that to the coil, which looks really nice. The power steering lines are on. You've seen that already. And now basically he's just trying to get it to run right. And when you've never worked on one before, and then it's all new, like, you know.
We had the carburetors off this morning. We went through them.
Yeah, so Nathan's went through the carburetors this morning and took and cleaned them all, and they look like someone took a dump inside them. We don't know who it was, but
Fina.
What? Fina took a dump inside the carburetors, but the carburetors are all clean now. Got a little bit of a leak going. No.
That's the two O-rings.
Two O-ring. Had to put some O-rings in there. That one's got a little tiny bit in it. So the carburetor's been cleaned this morning. All the brackets been made and the wiring's been done. Did not know, well, obviously if you watched the video, we did not know that oil put down pressure on the pistons in the carburetor. Did not know that. You basically had to read that book that.
I think people commented, but I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah, you don't read the comments, but.
No, because I might find one that pisses me off. It's best not to get into that sort of stuff. But sometimes there is a comment that really makes sense that someone does know.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that sometimes
I scan through them.
A poor comment will override a bunch of good ones. It's a shame that happens because probably could have took some advice from some people. But I'm really happy the way everything looks on the side of the engine now. Mm-hmm. I like this thing. They transfer the oil around. Everything's going good that way. The filter hasn't blown off yet. We're running about 60 pounds oil pressure full time. The fan, got the fan on it. I wish I would have made a video. I cut all the ends on it, and the reason being was it was going to touch one of the clamps. So I knocked off a little bit on each one, but it works good. Nothing's going wrong with it. Everything's going pretty good. It's not leaking at the red hoses anymore. We got a little bit of oil leaking out the front crank seal, you would say that would be? You know, basically.
Didn't they say all Jaguar engines leak?
Yeah.
Or if it's not leaking, it's...
I have no idea. I mean, every car in here is feed and bleed. Like, you know, you feed them oil and they bleed, and you walk around that Ford, they're bleeding. Except maybe even your Corvette bleeds. I don't know. But anyways, everything's looking pretty good. I like how tidy that is. That looked really nice. That took a fair bit of time to get that in place. The manifold bolts had to come off. Brackets had to be made and drilled. We did a little machine work on the aluminum, just like the valve pan covers, to make it look nice. And to get that looking nice in there when you don't know what's going on, well, that's basically it. Now we're going to get into some changing the wires on it, get the cloth wires on it. We got a new fan on it. And the fan that we had before, Nathan was 100% right. He spun it with his finger like that, and he said, no good. And that's basically the truth. That was the end of the matter. And the reason being is because when we took this fan off and went to go like that, it had drag on it. You could feel it. As soon as you did it, it had drag on it. The other one just went, had no drag whatsoever. So he made me a believer on that part. If you got a clutch fan, you can just go like that. It's no good. If it has a little bit of drag on it, then you're okay. But basically, it's got it running pretty good. The fan is pulling lots of air, is it not? Pulling lots of air. You know, we ran that quite a little while, touched that. Radiator seems to be fine. Circulating good. I'm not sure that vent probably could be dealt with. Probably help it work a little bit better, would it not? Not sure. But as we got going along here, it seems to be working better and better and better with the transmission fluid in the top of the carburetors. It seems to be working good. I like the way it's all being wired up. I like how it's clean, it's coming.
We're learning piece by piece.
Yeah, and that's the way it goes, especially if you don't know. I don't know. I can clean it and paint it, put it in, and make all the things go together, but to actually make it work, Nathan's doing that, and I'll leave him to it because he knows more than I do, because it wouldn't have got this far.
I'm still learning too.
But yeah, that looks really nice how that's all put together in there. Everything's clean looking. Once we get it all running and stuff like that, then we can wash it all off and get it all nice and clean and get it ready for the body of the car. But we're getting, I don't know, I keep saying it, we're getting closer and closer and closer. But that's, seems to be running pretty good, does it not? You said something about the choke cables. What do you got an idea? Something off a Skidoo or something?
Yeah, the tricep. Yeah, Skidoo throttle cable, so it pulls two at the same time. Twin cylinders, and you use that as a choke cable.
Okay.
So one turns into two. So
Yeah.
both at the same point.
Yeah, like it seems to be pretty cool. Like I think you said let it run there all day, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And something like we should, like you said, we probably should get the alternator hooked up and keep that battery charged up full time.
The volts, you got 13.5 to the ignition all the time. Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, do you think it's almost there? Or?
Getting there, yeah.
Getting there.
Getting there. We're learning the tweaks, one tweak at a time.
One tweak at a time. Start it again, Nathan. Start it again. Start it again.
It started.
Yeah, like it will take right off. Like we'll see what happens. That tells you, you know, if you start it and it starts good. Well, it's warmed up too, though, eh?
It's warmed up now, so you should just sit there live and
So what are you going to go over it in your brain a little bit and think about it? Is that what you're going to do, or like what? Yeah. What do you think? Just hook the alternator up and get that charging.
Hook the alternator up, keep the volts to it.
Yeah.
You want to tighten the alternator up a little bit first, anyways.
I do.
And pull that off.
Yep. Pull that off. Clean that up. What I want to do is I want to put some clear coat on the alternator, and the reason I want to do that is because it's aluminum, and if I don't, it'll turn to crap. It will.
I think you pull that off now, then you can go like that, and
hook a wire up to it.
then we'll run the wire to it. We can run a nice wire now, right like to the start, and we'll do a full time power. All of our power is running the cylinder at the start of it.
Awesome. Yeah, if that thing starts like that tomorrow, like if you come in tomorrow.
More than chokes up tomorrow.
Okay, if you come in tomorrow and it starts up pretty good, then I'm probably going to start painting soon.
I'll see if I can find a choke cable.
Well, I mean, makes sense too. I mean, there's no sense me holding off now if it's going to start like that every time.
At least if I get a choke cable here up on it, we can pull it at the same time. And that's as fast I go at the same time. Yeah. That seemed to work when we started earlier.
Yeah. It did. Yeah. And did that help?
Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah, I wish I could have seen what the original crankcase bed and stuff was like. So that there did. We'll leave them on there for now.
It seemed to work though, didn't it?
Seemed to work, yeah. So it might be too much, maybe.
Too much fuel, you think?
Too much back.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you never run one before, you would never know.
Yeah.
But there you go. Carburetors have been clean. Carburetors have been topped up with oil. All the wiring looks absolutely awesome on the other side. I was kind of wondering how that mess was going to look, but it looks really good. Looks real good.
Gear up with it, yeah, get the charge and all that, then we'll do the rest of it.
All right, everybody, that's an update on the Bugatti. We haven't shown you the seats yet. The seats look amazing. You didn't see the seats, did you? Seats look awesome. Floyd Hiltz did the seat. Did an awesome job on them. Jolene got in one, set it in the car. Looks good. It's kind of looks really good. So we'll end up maybe getting close to doing some painting work and put the body on. And the reason I want this to work really good is because it's going to be really hard to work on. You know,
Right.
You know, if it's in here, how are you going to work on that down there with the body on? You know, like there's no getting at it. So we really want it to work good before we put the body on. Like, subscribe, come back tomorrow. We'll be here.